What's up, everyone? We are live for another episode of Who Are They? Real Talk. Once again, I am Matt, and joining me, as always, is my co-host and the co-founder, Nick Mulbach.
He almost just started off with a Matt Thomas burp for the show, so that was
That was
I
a
couldn't
cough.
help. All right. Well, couldn't help but notice that. So, hey everybody, how's it going? Hope everybody is having a wonderful night and is ready for, let's just say, what could be the last in this format of Real Talk. We'll get into that later on. But yeah, just excited to be here talking movies.
Yes. And Nick, actually, I was going to take that up top because
Oh.
after this week, we're going to return to format, and that is the Who Are They side of things. As you know, the entire structure of this operation changed because of the pandemic. Some for the good, some for the worse. The good channel expanded. We have all these different shows, brought on Chris, Toby, Taylor, Connor, brought back Really Scared, started Spin from the Real, all that fun stuff.
Absolutely.
Can't
forget Wrestle Reel here.
And Wrestle Reel, yes. That was covered in bringing in Chris. But on the back end of things, the Who Are They things kind of died down. And that was because we wanted to shine a light on independent filmmakers and actors and actresses. And when a pandemic's going on and there's not a lot of projects being made, it's harder to do so, especially when you bring on the people who were able to work on projects throughout the pandemic and they've already talked about it.
Yeah.
So you don't want to hear repeats and the same thing. So we kind of just dug deep into the movie news because that's all we had.
Right.
And we had discussions here and there when we're going to go back to that also. But we're going to go back to now that things are loosening up and there seems to be this light at the end of the tunnel and projects are being made. We're going back to bringing on the more independent talent, whether that's directors, writers, actors, doesn't matter. We want to bring those people on because that's what this whole thing started as. It started as a little bit of movie news, conversation, and learning about other people.
And I will say that, and I was going to create a thumbnail for it, but I know that we're in the process of a little bit of behind the scenes things when it comes to logos and stuff like that. Nathan Mulbach, my brother, he'll probably go by Nate Mulbach on here, will be our first guest when it comes to the rebrand. And we're, I want to say if anybody's watching right now who has reached out to us, thank you, first of all, because we made a post the day that we kind of had this big meeting thing, and like the outreach that we had from the film community just in Cleveland and in general overall was amazing. And we're already in the process of booking guests for the next few weeks. I can't announce anything yet because I was going to say, yeah, we had enough people. It felt like we were going to book the entire year. But thank you, everybody who has reached out. We're going to be sifting through all the people who had submitted, wanting to be involved. And so not even deal with the news. We like talking about the news on this
We're
channel.
just not going to be as news heavy as we have in the past 8 or so months.
That's right. But yeah, Nate Mulbach, it literally within a day of this posting, we're going to have the thumbnail and everything. The stream is going to be created. You're going to be able to share it with your friends. We're going to share it throughout all the film groups and everything like that. So if you want to be involved, tune in next week, 8 o'clock. Nate Mulbach will be on the show to talk about film scoring, acting, and all kinds of different stuff.
Yes. But also, just another heads up. Over the next couple months, you're going to see the departure of more geeky news from this show. Don't come here expecting this, we'll say probably a month and a half, 2 months time. Don't come in expecting to hear about Star Wars or Star Trek or Snyder Cut. Because we are going to be having a new show that's going to focus more on the geekier side of culture and news. And that's going to be hosted by Chris Lopez and Connor Breedlove. We have no title for it yet. We're just, as of right now, it's just in the works. It's coming. So expect us to go to more of the normal, traditional, contemporary movie news going forward. But for the time being, we do plan on still giving, because we know people love to talk about that news. It is what it is. So for the time being, until that show is in place, we're gonna sprinkle the big stuff in there and have discussions about that as well.
That's right.
But there are other announcements that are going to be coming more in the future. I just wanted to talk about those two right now because, well, it's actually not more Chris on Watt because you'll see a little bit less of Chris on this show, at least during the months where he's working, because he does do high school sports. So amount of Chris on Watt. But I did want to say those two things up top because those are the two things that are really going to affect this show going forward. So, but that being said, we do have two amazing panelists, guest hosts, whatever you want to call them, on tonight with us. And they are two people I've gotten somewhat close with the last couple weeks or month or so. And that is Paige Fabretti and Jesse Swift, who are both rookies in this year's season of the Movie Trivia Schmodown. But we're excited to have them on because I know Paige was like, I don't get to talk movie news that often. And Jesse feels the same way.
So I'm so happy. Well, I don't because of WandaVision.
Nerds.
I do have my own YouTube channel, and we talk movie news when there's not. Yeah, Flick and Reel right there. Boom, boom. Find me on YouTube. But the problem is I don't have a lot of time. So when you have things like WandaVision, I got about enough time for about one show a week. So lately it's been WandaVision. So next week, I finally get a week off, get to talk movie news for a week. But then after that, we got Falcon, Winter Soldier, Snyder Cut, Godzilla, and Kong. So like, I'm going to be busy with reviews and, yeah, probably not have time for news.
Yeah. So I know I had to bring up that stuff up top. Just one of those things where we wanted to grow and also go back to what was fun because there are plenty of things we did earlier on that we had fun with. And a lot of that actually stems back to when we were just audio, no video. But
yeah. It's been
that's how I started myself also as well.
Because Paige, you and I have been talking like movie news almost every other day, and Jesse, we just talk in general every other day. Yes. So, but without further ado, I know Paige, you haven't watched this yet. We're going to open it up with our thoughts on the WandaVision finale.
Go ahead, guys. Take it away. I've
Jesse,
seen some stuff, but I don't know much.
Jesse, since you're the guest, I'm going to let you go ahead and go first.
So are we being kind on spoilers then right now?
Go ahead and spoil.
Oh, you can go ahead. I'm probably the only person in the world that hasn't seen it. So
if we're doing like summaries and stuff, I can actually probably go over most of my thoughts without getting into details too much. Overall, I'd say surprisingly the finale's been almost a little divisive as far as social medias go. Like some people are really disappointed, and you've seen people like Winston Marshall and I think Coy as well are coming to the show's defense a little bit and being like, listen, a lot of the pressure that you put on the show, like you put on yourself, and the disappointment is kind of on the fans a lot because, and I agree with that. I think that they told a complete story with Wanda and Vision. And if you're hunting for Easter eggs and you're trying to like hyper analyze and you want or need it to go a certain way, that's kind of on you. I mean, I was speculating along with everyone else. Every other week I was Mephisto. We're talking about Mephisto, Fox, Quicksilver, and trying to wrap everything together. And they went a different direction. And you know what? I love the finale. The action was exciting and entertaining.
Jesse's internet froze up, it seems like.
He's breathing like Vision.
But no, Nick, how about we go to your thoughts while we wait on getting Jesse back?
My favorite article of all time when it came to this was WandaVision fans are disappointed by something they were never promised. Because, let's face it, everybody was like, oh, this is going to be the way that we introduce the X-Men and blah, 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 blah. It wasn't. I mean, we obviously got Pietro, but it wasn't Pietro. And I'm cool with that. I agree with Jesse. It was a complete story between Wanda and Vision, which was what we were promised. That was what the show was going to be. That was what we got, and quite frankly, it didn't disappoint. It even gave us some stuff to look forward to when it came to the ending. But I'm super excited to see where everything moves forward. I think that we were all sort of picking it apart as best as we possibly could when it came down to it. And I wasn't disappointed. I enjoyed the product that we got.
Yeah, nice to have you back, Jesse. You like died out mid sentence. I was like, Jesse.
It's sort of like the internet actually died. Like the connection went away for like 2 minutes, and then right now I have two cats. Like I have an arm outstretched right here because the cat keeps trying to jump on the table and disconnect the mic, so it's chaos over here.
That cat never likes when you're doing shows. It's just something I've noticed.
I don't know which. Yeah, something.
They want your attention.
Oh my! One of them just parkoured off the back of the chair. I felt it. Anyways, WandaVision finale. I liked it a lot. I think there's some haters out there. I think I have some mild disappointments, but I'm not going to be disappointed by like the lack of Reed Richards or Mephisto. I thought it was weird that one of the post-credit scenes set up a movie that I feel like we're not going to get for like another 2 years because we have like 4 or 5 movies and like
next
4
November.
shows between. Is it?
Yeah, next November.
I mean, Marvel's constipated right now. We got movies backed up to like high heaven. So, I mean, I get because of the character why they set that movie up. Full thoughts on my channel though, but overall, I think I gave it like a 8.5 out of 10.
I gave it an 8.
Yeah.
You got to remember though, when this show was developed, they didn't expect to have the Scott Derrickson drama or COVID to hit because Doctor Strange was originally supposed to be coming out this May.
Right, it went through some weird stuff.
That's my thing. Is I feel like Doctor Strange should be coming out like after this now instead of like Spider-Man. Like, I mean, I know they all those 3 like are gonna be like their own mini like trilogy, but I feel like if the show ties, from what I've heard, that it ties in so well with Doctor Strange, then why is it?
But the next time we see Steven, the next time we see Steven is in Spider-Man.
Yeah, it's gonna throw some people off because once again, Spider-Man was kind of announced after Multiverse of Madness.
Mm-hmm.
So I know Kevin Feige said we're not going to, and this was even before COVID hit, we're not going to get linear storytelling in Marvel going forward. Because think about it this way. Spider-Man Far From Home takes place months after this does.
Yeah, that took some, like, I didn't even realize that at first. That had to be brought back to my attention, which then when something about with this finale might tie into the post-credit scene of Far From Home.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, so I think it's interesting to look at it that way.
Overall, I liked the finale. I know there are a lot of haters out there. I did feel like the first like quarter of it was a little bit rushed.
Fit a lot in though.
It fit a lot in. I would have, but
I could have taken another half hour. I'm with you.
I was about to say I could have taken another 10 to 15 minutes and not make that feel so rushed and condensed. And I'm like, nah. But I think ultimately this show did a great job of showing the power of grief and an acceptance of grief. And
you know, it was episode 3 that, and I forget which show I was on. It might be even your guys' show, but I talked about it. I was like, I think this show is going to explore the 5 stages of grief. And then, like, after that, I started hearing everybody say that, and I was like, well, you know what? I said it pretty early on, so.
No,
I mean, I haven't even seen the show, but like, I like that I've heard like it doesn't at least depict like just a woman go mad in a sense. Like at least it shows like
thankfully, yes,
and like that's what like pleases me at least, even though I haven't seen it. That I mean, Elizabeth Olsen is such a great actress anyway, so I feel like the way she portrays anyways is just perfect. But I'm just glad they didn't like. She's a crazy bitch. Well, can I swear? She's a crazy witch. Like
perfect. I mean, there's several times where we think because of like comics or just because we think it's going to be a show about her going crazy. There's several stepping off points where we think she's going to take this step and lose it, and she actually takes the calmer approach. So it's definitely about exploring and handling grief in different ways. And granted, at the end of this, she did some things that are probably not so great. Yes. But she's human. I think this was a show that explored humanity very well.
Yeah, I will say episode 8 will probably remain one of my favorite episodes of television, period.
It's rough. It's a rough episode.
I saw that episode. I'm like, I now see why we couldn't have this as a movie, because you couldn't have had this 45-minute episode that explored Wanda's origin like this. And I needed it. Like, I'm like, I became more of a fan of Wanda after this. Granted, I did like how they poked fun at the accent throughout the series, because that's always been something even Marvel fans have poked fun of throughout the years. But
I always explained it away as something she puts on and off because people do that. Sometimes they get around their family and they have an accent, more of an accent, and then they get around.
and see, they showed that because whenever she got more angry in the show, the accent popped up a little bit more.
Which, if you've ever had a Latina friend or something, she gets a little frustrated and you hear it come out.
Exactly. But no, I did enjoy the show. I'd give it an 8 out of 10, 4 out of 5, whatever you want to call it.
Well, guys, I have a couple questions for you then about it. Like, I mean, the way it ends, then, so you don't think there will be a season, or do you think this is a one and done type show?
Yes, this is definitely a one and done type show.
Okay.
It's just one of those.
Do you think all
the sequel is when we see her next?
Yes,
basically. So it's like I wished it could have set up Multiverse of Madness a little more than it did, but it doesn't make sense for her to have another story between now and then.
Exactly.
Okay. Now, do you guys think all of the shows? Oh, you say what you're gonna say, Matt.
I heard you say that before, and I was actually about to answer that. To your question of are all of them going to be one and done? No, because Kevin Feige, even in the last couple of weeks, teased like some shows may have multiple seasons.
Loki confirmed for 2 already.
Yeah, Loki's confirmed for 2 already.
Yeah.
Oh wow!
It sounds like Falcon and Winter Soldier may be one of those shows that gets multiple seasons.
I think you're going to get some, just like a comic book. Some are going to fill in gaps and holes in stories cinematically, and then some characters aren't needed cinematically as soon, and so they can kind of run off on their own stories for a while. But Wanda has a very dynamic story. She's very important to the MCU, especially moving forward with the multiverse stuff. So she's needed. We need to get her back into the movies ASAP. But I think there's a lot of boots on the ground stories that need to be told with Falcon and Winter Soldier. And there's not a lot of call for them in Eternals and Shang-Chi and Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 and stuff. So I think everyone's got or Hawkeye. Hawkeye, for instance, you can run a few seasons of Hawkeye.
I think you will, because ultimately you have that shows at the end of the day is going to be about Kate Bishop taking up the mantle of Hawkeye. So you're going to have to.
I think that like Miss Marvel will get multiple seasons as well.
Yes.
I think that's
and then that's all we're going to get. Young. Okay, here's the thought, guys. Do you think Young Avengers is that going to be a movie based around Disney Plus characters, essentially, kind of, that gets brought cinematically, or are we first going to see the Young Avengers team up on Disney Plus?
I think we're going to see them team up in a film first, because especially with you bringing Kang in, when Kang is supposed to be that next big bad, it just makes sense to build up the Young Avengers to. And let's be honest, Jesse, I know you and I talked about this when it came to WandaVision with the twins aging up. Eventually, there's going to be something that causes them to age up to full, like older teens or mid-teens, and you'd pair them with Kate Bishop, you pair them with Kamala Khan.
Do you think we're going to get is it Amadeus Cho? Is that his name?
For Hulk, I don't think so. I think they're going to use She-Hulk in his place.
Yeah,
but she's older quite a bit. Yeah, she's like I thought that the oldest person was going to be Kate Bishop.
Possibly. Like I said, here's the thing.
I think Spider-Man.
I'm hoping the oldest will be. Yeah, I was gonna say I hope Spider-Man will be the oldest, but then again,
his contract's up.
I think Haley's is older than, isn't she? Isn't Haley Steinfeld older?
Well,
than
we don't know how old her character is though.
True.
I mean, yeah, she definitely is older, but we just don't know the.
She's like Tom. She can play any age. I'm sorry, I sidetracked it off onto.
No, she's 20. She's 24. Tatiana though is only like she's only like 32 if I remember correctly.
Oh, that's younger than I thought.
Yeah, she's. She actually, never mind. I correct myself. She's 39. So no, I'm wrong.
I don't think that she'll be in a young that movie. Yeah. I mean, they have time to build up a bunch of characters.
Yes.
I mean, there's going to be characters that just randomly appear once, and then we're going to see.
Oh, we got Riri. Riri's coming.
Riri Williams is coming. Yeah, and
yeah.
So
I want my Women's Avenger movie, guys.
I was about to say, speaking of Women Avengers, we also have America Chavez.
America Chavez
in Multiverse of Madness.
Oh yeah, she was confirmed during Investors Day.
She was cast. She's already cast.
I forgot completely about that. That's the one thing people always brush over in regards to Investors Day.
She's so cool.
I mean, and we know we're gonna have female Thor soon. I'm looking at Black Panther 2, which we don't know who's gonna take up the mantle, so that's gonna be interesting.
Yeah. That's a hot topic.
So I mean, there's a lot going on here. We had Cassie Lang recast for Quantumania, who she'll be played by Catherine Newton. I mean, it is what
She's
it
supposed to
is.
be 15.
What
Yeah.
we don't know how old she's supposed to be in this story though.
Yeah.
Why'd they recast her? She was great.
Because Catherine Newton. Yeah, and see that's the thing. And I think that's something that's going to get explored going forward.
That
You guys mean Dennis
brings up an
from
important
Bill and Ted?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
he does.
That brings up important. I was watching a review and somebody, I'll just call her out. I don't know if you guys ever watched Grace Randolph, but she was going on about the things that Kevin Feige said about you don't have to watch the Disney Plus shows to follow the MCU. And she's like, so, the big revelation is nothing that happens on Disney Plus matters. And I was like, you are full of shit. Absolutely.
He
Because
said you need to watch this stuff. Not you can't, not you don't need to see. He said you need to watch this stuff.
Because when Wiccan and Speed eventually show up again, if you don't watch Disney Plus, you're going to say, what the hell's going on?
Exactly.
When Vision shows up again, you're going to be like, I thought he died in Infinity War. Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
I mean, I compare Grace Randolph to the We Got This covered of YouTube. So, with that being said,
all right, sorry. I'll let you guys move on. I'm just here to disrupt.
I have one question though for you guys before
Go ahead.
if we're changing topic. Well, because obviously I'm going to try to binge it this coming weekend. Do you think it's a good binge-worthy show, or do you think
I wish I could have binged it.
It's very binge-worthy.
Mhm.
My thing is, and we'll talk about this when we get into our discussion later, I'm not a fan of the binge model personally. So
I know you were saying that, yeah.
I'm going
hopefully I
to
can
play
enjoy it.
devil's advocate and ride the middle down there. So when we get to that conversation, I'm excited to have it.
all right. But moving on real quick, let's go to the stuff we're not really going to talk heavily about, and that is the fact that A Quiet Place 2 moved up its release date to Memorial Day, and the Fast and Furious pushed their April release date back to June 25th. How you guys feeling about that?
Can't wait for A Quiet Place Part 2. And Fast 9, I mean, they might as well just put that movie in space because they just keep pushing that movie and pushing it. So at this point, God only knows when we'll actually get it, but oh man, Quiet Place
It's weird.
2.
We already have a
Thank
trailer
God.
for. We already have a trailer for Fast 9. We've had like 3 trailers for Quiet Place, and so it's kind of surreal. Coming from somebody that I just saw my first movie in theaters yesterday that I have in
Oh,
almost
wow.
13 months.
Raya?
And yeah, I saw Raya in theaters, and I'll admit there's parts of the movie that made me cry, admittingly. But what was interesting is we saw it in a theater in a mall, and then we were going out walking into stores, and I was just talking to my fiance, and I just tried to like casually say that I missed seeing movies. And mid-sentence, I just had tears streaming down my face all of a sudden because I didn't realize, like, I live through movies. It's kind of what I thrive off of. So I got to admit, like, I can feel it right now. Just it's weird to go back. And I got Mortal Kombat's coming out, and it's supposed to be day and date with HBO Max. So hopefully I can see that in theaters. Hopefully I can see Godzilla in theaters.
We're talking about renting out a theater to see Mortal Kombat together. So we'll
That would be awesome.
You'll be there in spirit, Jesse. You'll be there in spirit. I know you're on the other side of the country, but you'll be there in spirit.
The streamer.
Raya was a good film. Ferris, so good to see you.
It's always good to see you. But no, our review for Raya is up. It is one of 3 films we reviewed this week. Those 3 being
busy week.
Yeah, those 3 being Coming to America, Raya and the Last Dragon, and Boogie, which Connor and I loved. And Nick got to see it the other night too. He got to see it after the review was recorded though. So he's not on the review.
No, yeah, I wasn't. And to this point, everybody who watches this channel regularly knows that what I'm about to say is what I say every single time that we talk about movies moving. It's the same every single time. The movie's going to come out eventually. That's why I like to move on from this subject every single time, because it's just like it was to a point where every single
one is
week,
moving up. One is moving
that's
up.
different. That's different.
God.
But like
until we're a month away, I can't care anymore. Like,
and that's my thing. Is like every single
no,
week
a day away.
every week that we like filmed a real talk, it was this movie's moving, this movie's moving, and I just was like, oh my gosh, who cares? Just wait until it happens, and we'll see it, and we'll review it, and we'll say it sucks or say it's good. And it's
gotten so bad that like now movies sneak up on me because I've gotten so used to not paying attention to the release dates anymore that I was talking to my co-host of my show, and I was just looking at articles and stuff. I was like, dude, we got Snyder
Busy
cut
month.
in less than 2 weeks. And he's like, holy shit, we do. I was like, we need to plan a watch along. We need to start getting that put together. And then, yeah, so it's starting to happen. I think like from March moving forward, it's just starting to happen. So, I mean, finally.
Yeah, old people are getting vaccines, so that makes it capable for, I guess, all of us to go to movie theaters. So.
The second I get the notification.
Oh, I'm getting that vaccine as soon as possible. The first thing I'm doing is probably going to a movie theater.
I got both my shots, so hopefully they open up.
Oh yeah, you're one of the lucky ones.
I've gotten it.
Ferris,
I have a
evil,
sleeve.
sir.
Sloughing.
Sleeve of tattoo, and I cry when I get shots. So
the only thing I'm going to watch at home, will be Zack Snyder's Justice League. And even though it's theatrical, and I do want to see it on the big screen, it's
not getting a theatrical release just yet. There's no confirmation of it.
Yeah.
Uh-oh. Are we losing Jesse again?
Oh, but Godzilla versus Kong, like, you gotta see that in theaters. And I feel like Mortal Kombat will just be like a badass flick. So that's like worthy too.
I know someone who's about to see Godzilla versus Kong in theaters this week, and I'll leave it at that.
Well, I mean, from what I'm hearing, like, it's gonna be more based on the monsters, which is what finally needs. So
Yeah.
Here's to hoping, because that last Godzilla movie, Nick and I nearly fell asleep in it. So
I wasn't necessarily a fan. I mean,
I enjoyed the Boston scenes, but that's about it. I was like, I see Fenway and Smash, so.
Oh, no, I'm gonna wait for Jesse to get in. I'm personally excited just to see a movie get moved up. Fast and Furious is one of my favorite film series. Nick actually worked on Fast 8, even though he doesn't really care for the films that much.
I mean, they're fine.
You've seen what
I've
one
seen,
of them?
Well, yeah, I've seen the one I worked on in Hobbs and Shaw, so you know.
You liked Hobbs and Shaw.
Give me a break.
I still got to get you to watch Fast 5 though, because if you liked Hobbs and Shaw, you'll enjoy Fast 5. Let's see if we got Jesse
sure
back.
that I might just. Sure.
No, he's still frozen.
I have a lot of movies that I need to watch, and I'm really behind on every single one of them. So,
King of the Monsters rules. Shut the hell up.
Connor will argue that until he's blue in the face, though. So
Connor loves that movie.
And to each their own. That's why movies exist.
Internet is quirky Merc approved. Gang.
Oh.
I mean, I guess you have to have bad internet to be on Koi's team, right? Because Bibbs had it, Koi has it. It's just one of those things.
No comment from this usual suspect.
Yes. The usual suspect, the most suspect person on this panel right now doesn't have any bad internet. So, hey.
We good.
All right, but moving on. I don't know. I'm so happy. It's surreal that this is finally here. Junkie XL announced that his score for Justice League is done. It's about 4 hours. And it's over 50 tracks. Now that we got Jesse back, Jesse, how excited are you for this Snyder cut?
I was just going to take a nap the rest of the show. Okay, well, all right. Listen, I love Danny Elfman, but we all know he had a rush job with the Justice League cut. Junkie XL is testosterone incarnate, and so if anyone hasn't. If you work out, go to the gym at all you need to do is listen to that Mad Max album, and that'll get you jacked more than creatine. So Zack Snyder and testosterone are two things that go together like peanut butter and jelly. No matter how you feel about it, I just feel like that's the truth, for better or worse. Zack is definitely the Kyle of directors. Sometimes it's great. Sometimes it's, he's hitting that drywall a little too hard. So I'm really excited to see what Junkie XL does. From what I've seen from the trailers, I'm excited. It gets my blood pumping, and yeah, I don't know what else to say. I'm cautiously optimistic. There's no way it can be any worse.
Yeah, Paige, how about you? Because I know you aren't the biggest fan of Justice League.
Yeah, I mean, definitely not. I mean, I'm just hoping with this play that there's nothing but up with it. I don't think it can go any lower for me. So I mean, I'm excited. And I mean, I love Watchmen. I feel like that's like
That's-
such an underrated flick, and I like the soundtrack of that movie a lot too. So, I mean,
I think Connor's got it.
I love dark and superhero movies. So I'm definitely probably more like a DC chick than I am like Marvel, even though Marvel films are ultimately definitely better. But I'm definitely dark and gloomy. So I like his vibe with those movies. So I mean, I'm excited to see this. And supposedly, what is shown us so far is like the first like 30 minutes in the movie, within the first 30 minutes, and then we get 4 hours of footage we've never seen supposedly. So I'm excited for that.
That's right, George. It's probably going to be worse.
You think
but
so?
I am excited. Oh yeah. Oh, I'm ready to be just as disappointed as I was.
Justice disappointed?
Justice disappointed as I was before. You played the jazz cut thing, so I had to say that. But yeah, I was talking about it with a friend because we were watching Justice League at his house, and I looked
short
at him.
nap. That movie's not even 2 hours long.
Right, that's what I was just about to say.
I was like, "Are you ready for this to be just as disappointing?" I mean, the Junkie XL score I will listen to all the time because did he do? He did Batman versus Superman, right?
Yes.
Partially.
No, partially.
Okay.
It was him and
Yeah.
Hans Zimmer. Hans Zimmer was like,
I was gonna say if
Building
he
them
did the Wonder Woman song, that he could do every single song ever. So like, I love the Wonder Woman song. If we get more of the Wonder Woman song in this movie, I know Matt was hoping that Pitbull was going to be scoring this movie because he just loves Oceans to Oceans so much.
I do love that song, but now I was
But so he was really disappointed when he heard Junkie XL was doing this. He wanted 4 hours of
that's a
Pitbull.
lie.
But yeah, I'm really excited for Junkie XL. Any Junkie XL score.
I mean, Mad Max Fury Road, Deadpool. He's going to be doing Godzilla versus Kong. He did Alita Battle Angel. I loved that score. So
he's fantastic. So yeah, I'm definitely ready.
Unfortunately, he did the score for the Amazing Spider-Man 2 and Tomb Raider. Okay, I dig. Even though I hated the Amazing Spider-Man 2, I drop something, Nick.
Yeah, that was my fault.
Yeah, but no, I'm excited. I'm happy, and I'm hoping just gets his internet fixed.
I mean, that Mad Max Fury Road soundtrack, whew.
It's
boiling. I feel like if they can do that in this movie, hopefully it will end up a little bit more. So
yes,
Nick's like, no, it won't.
Well, listen, I'm just setting my expectations low because I always kind of imagined that this movie was like what we already were originally going to get. I mean, and I think that the problem with it overall is that I just kind of don't. I mean, I know the difference between the Joss cut and the Snyder cut is, Superman's weird lip not poking down the entire time.
You mean like being an inch off of his face?
Yeah. So like
they do deep cuts better than that, so I don't get how that could have happened. But
I'm very, I'm looking forward to not seeing Henry Cavill's weird face. I'm ready to see Henry Cavill's normal hunky face in this movie. So like, I wonder what kind of a Flash we're gonna get out of this film because I kind of thought that at least if there was something to come out of this movie I thought that he did really well as Flash. So we'll see. I'm hopeful, but
saw him back.
I'm hopeful, but not at the same time. If that makes any sense.
Actually, I have his hunky face right there. It is. There's my boy.
Oh,
fantastic.
Beautiful man.
Fantastic.
Beautiful.
But no, I'm excited. I love that Mad Max score, just like Paige. That Mad Max score is just fantastic.
Was it? Is Brothers in Arms? Is that the track that's just like?
I think so.
Yeah, the desert chase. Well, I said the desert chase. That's the whole 2 hours of movie. You know what I'm talking about.
You're not wrong there.
I'm sorry, guys. My internet has never been like this. Like sometimes it'll pop out once, and then like
it happened like the first time you were on Spin from the Rail. Hold on, it's happened before. All right, well, let's move on to something I know this hopeful Inner Geekdom champ is ready to talk about. That's Star Trek 4. Yeah, it looks like we might be getting Star Trek 4 finally.
I have questions.
You have questions?
I have questions.
What questions are those? Because I'm curious.
Well, we know the original reason that it was off the table is because it was going to be too expensive. And understandably, as much as I enjoyed the new Star Trek films, the ratio of cost and budget to return and profit isn't a great margin for these movies. It's
But
not.
they still made money. They still made
Yeah, they
money.
make some, but it's understandably the studio is like, which Paramount, I believe, correct?
It's Paramount.
Yeah, Paramount was like, hey guys, if we want to make another one of these, we need to make some cuts. They can't cost this much, and some of those cuts are going to be with the actors. And we know that it was going to be a time travel. I don't know if it's a buddy cop type thing, but it was going to be Chris Hemsworth and Chris Pine, and we were going to get the Kirks. I wish they would just call it Star Trek: The Kirks Strike Back or something. But we know that both of those guys are way more expensive than they were back in 2009.
Yes.
So my question is it a rewrite? Did they start from the ground up, or did they come to terms and figure out a solution? I'd like to know more.
I'm very curious about that myself, because I actually have an entire pitch for a fourth film based off of what we know.
Do we have time for that?
No, no. That's already on this channel on our episode with Johnny.
Yeah, it is on this channel.
No, you know what they should do? Just bring in Quentin Tarantino to direct it, like he's been wanting to do. Don't make it his final film though, and they can chop. I mean, he makes films for less than like 60 million, so.
Paramount has been cheap for decades. He's not wrong.
I would love to see that Quentin Tarantino Star Trek film. Just give me that all the time.
That's actually a brilliant idea, Ferris. I love that idea. Pay them less and give them producer credit. So that's how you circumvent contracts. And we lost Jesse again. He froze up. This really is a bad day for his internet. They said it's original, so I don't know if it's the fourth in the series. From what I've read, it's gonna be the fourth, but it's a newer idea.
I mean, I have a feeling that like this is all gonna boil down to who they can get back.
Yeah,
and,
that's who's available too.
Right.
That entire cast has got to cost a lot of money now, because you have Carl Urban, Chris Pine, Zoe Saldana. Unfortunately, you're not paying Anton Yelchin anymore. Rest in peace. But it's just one of those things where you're like, they have a lot of money invested just in the cast alone. Because Carl Urban's probably getting paid for The Boys still. John Chu is not cheap. Or he's probably cheaper than the rest of them, but he's not cheap. He's got the Cowboy Bebop live action show he's filming for Netflix.
Yeah.
Simon Pegg is Simon Pegg.
Yeah, he's always going to cost money, but he feels like one of those people who would just come back because he's like cares about it.
He would take a pay cut with no issue. I feel like he would just be like, I just want to be in this, so let me in.
And I agree.
I will believe that this is going to be the fourth film in that series when I see it. I'm kind of
I don't know how I feel about that.
Be a completely new rebooted series. I don't know if that means that they're going to go with another Star Trek type to revamp everything, or if they're going to continue on with just a new cast, make them all younger and edgier or something stupid like that. I don't know.
That's what the 2009 one is. You don't have to do that.
I know.
What about this writer though? She's from like Fear of Walking Dead, isn't she? Fear of the Walking Dead.
I think so. Let me check. But no,
if that's the case, then I have
a
feeling it's going to be
producing it.
It's going to be a new story. It's not going to be the Star Trek 4 we thought we were going to get for sure.
No, it'll probably be a new story. It's Kalinda Vasquez from Fear the Walking Dead.
Does she have any other writing credits?
She wrote Ask Not, an episode for a Star Trek short series in which Captain Pike tests Starfleet cadets. So she's been doing a lot of writing for Paramount Plus, it seems like, when it comes to their Star Trek stuff.
Okay. And I mean, don't get me wrong, I love J.J. Abrams, but stop giving this man friggin' stop giving him franchises.
See, but this is just been producing. little
I
bit
know.
He
different.
still has his hand
That's
all
true.
over it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but right now he's producing like so many different things. You have
That's
the
another
new
thing.
Superman
Yeah.
film
He's doing a lot of
from
shows on like.
Trekkers. Yeah, that's a Trekker speaking himself. But yeah, it's going to be interesting. And Connor responds with "Keep giving JJ franchises."
Keep giving JJ original franchise.
Yeah,
Do more
original,
Cloverfield.
exactly.
There you go, Connor. Give us more Cloverfield, because we know that's what Connor wants.
But JJ made Cloverfield, so that like JJ came up with Cloverfield.
Well,
so
I'm just saying, make more Cloverfield. That way, he doesn't have to make more nerdy things, and we could give somebody else a chance.
I mean, I like the nerdy things.
Right, but he's been doing it for a very long time, and
Yeah.
it's been very hit or miss. He's done both Star series. He's gonna do Superman. He's got a lot going on. Give us, I don't know. I just like give us somebody new. That's my thing. Because and I say that because it's like we kind of know what we're gonna get out of J.J. Abrams. I say, why not give us something more? If that makes any sense, just like why not give somebody else a shot at taking over a bigger franchise? That's not like J.J. Abrams or Zack Snyder. Even though either Snyder Cut is going to be so good that we're going to want a sequel that we're never going to get. Oh, there you go. JJ reboot X-Men. He can
that DC
take out,
universe first. That's
yeah, Young Avengers. We'll give him Matt Reeves Batman at this point. I'm just kidding. Please give Matt Reeves everything. There you go.
That's what I'm saying. I would totally be down for that.
Give Matt Reeves.
Give Matt Reeves the X-Men franchise. That would be something to see, I think.
With all this Batman stuff he's doing.
I thought we lost Matt for a second.
I did too. I was
for a quick second, yes. For a quick second, I'm like,
would you like to repeat your point then?
I said for a quick second, my computer was freezing out, so you are correct.
Okay. Well, you were frozen again, so I was talking your point before that. But and no, George, Hollywood does not like new. We know that.
But no, the point I was making before was Matt Reeves is going to be pretty busy with the Gotham TV show he's going to be overseeing and Batman, which apparently he has ideas for 2 more films to go with it. So and then they like proven.
Seeing more and more and more and more.
That's correct. Hollywood likes proven, and that's why JJ is proven to make box office. He's directed one of the highest
box office is
films.
Definitely the word for it. He makes box office.
Let's be honest.
He makes the money.
Freaking, I can't think of his name right now. Tommy Wiseau could have directed Star Wars and it would have made over $1 billion. So we can't give JJ that much credit.
Which, by the way, why not?
Why not?
Give me what I want.
I would push back on that actually, Jesse, because at that time, JJ was one of the biggest directors in Hollywood.
It's an exaggeration.
I know.
Well, that's the thing is that movie made like closer to $2 billion.
Yeah, it made closer to $2 billion.
So I'm saying Tommy's would have made $1 billion. So I still give JJ a little credit.
Not enough. Not enough.
Also, I never want to hear Jar Jar Abrams again. That's just like instantly like I just want to backhand people. Like just like stop.
Why? It's funny.
Jesus.
It was funny for a week.
But no. We got one more piece of news, and then we're going to move on to this discussion of binge or no binge. And that is we got news on Space Jam 2. We got our first pictures this week. Yeah, and you can see we're getting with a 3D animated Toon Squad. And you have Don Cheadle playing AI, Bugs Bunny. And apparently this is a father-son movie, a family film of all family films. Give me Tommy Power Rangers.
Tommy Wiseau as Tommy.
Yes.
Oh God.
Yes.
Yeah, perfect.
Give Tommy everything.
Tommy Oliver.
See, Ferris, the plot of the film that I'll say this. Whatever that
is Ferris talking smack about the plot of a Space Jam movie?
Yes.
Go outside, man.
Yeah, there's that digesting film gave like a shortened version of the plot, and it's really more than that. Because digesting films like, oh, they're just gonna be the AI is trying to steal LeBron's Instagram followers. Okay, that is a very minute detail in the overall story of the film, because the story is James playing a heightened version of himself, and he struggles to relate with his son Dom, who's much more interested in creating games and playing them. And it's just a CGI humanoid named AIG Rhythm, played by Don Cheadle. He kidnaps James and his son into the serververse in hopes of stealing the king's followers. Cheadle says he doesn't consider the AIG a bad guy. He's rather an AI with a chip on his shoulders. And basically they're going to be going throughout the film and going to all these different places in the Warner Brother universe, whether it's Casablanca, the DC universe.
Yeah, it sounds like fun.
It sounds.
Dude, I read something that they said. Oh, what were you gonna say, Jesse?
No, go ahead.
Oh, I saw something that they said that Lola Bunny is gonna be like with the Amazons and like Wonder Woman. I was like, that's kind of bad.
That's dope. That's dope.
That is awesome. When I think back to Space Jam, it's been a while since I've seen it. But when I think about it, I think of who was in it. I think of the Looney Tunes, and I think of Michael Jordan. I don't know. I don't remember what the plot was. I remember that there was aliens and Looney Tunes playing basketball together.
Aliens trying to enslave the Looney Tunes, and they stole the skills from other basketball players, and there was a big basketball game. And if the Looney Tunes lost, they were going to be enslaved by the aliens. That's why they had to enlist Michael Jordan. That's the entire plot. Like, you want to say the plot sucks, but like it's not like the first film had that great of a plot either.
To me, the idea that we're going to explore Warner Brothers and not just the Looney Tunes, that's all I care about. That's the exciting part about this movie.
Like, we're gonna have Warner Brother characters playing basketball.
Somebody said Pennywise is going to show up in this.
I was just going to say that. Yeah, I was just going to say that. I think that would be awesome. I mean, not going to lie, at first when I heard this movie was getting made, and I was pretty pissed. I was just like, why are you doing this? Like, the first one, I mean, is it obviously like the best film ever? But it's like, so like childhood memories, like everyone loves Space Jam. And I was like, I just don't want them to touch it. Like, I mean, the Jumanji movies aren't bad, the new ones, but like, I just don't like the flavor, that like the different, you know what I mean? Like,
if you ask me, Who Framed Roger Rabbit's a weed movie too. Like they all
are Disney though. That's the weird thing. But no, I'm actually very excited for this, because granted, the only part about the plot that I've gotten is the Instagram followers. Like, okay, that's the worst part about that plot, but it's ultimately a father-son story, because apparently LeBron's trying to push his son, who's more interested in art and everything, into playing basketball, because that's what he's known for. I mean, and the cast is pretty great. Don Cheadle, Sonequa Martin Green, like you can't say
like Anthony Davis, like
Pennywise is a 99 2K rating.
No doubt.
Breaking ankles.
But like the thing that's pissing me off is people are freaking. Oh, so Ferris, when you actually hear what the film's about, you change your opinion. That's why I tell people don't pay attention to Twitter headlines or whatnot.
Ferris probably shares "We Got This Covered" links.
Ooh,
don't say that about Ferris. Don't say that about Ferris. Like, we're going to the Matrix 2, like Mad Max, the Matrix. Like,
no, I'm excited for this movie now to explore all of these different aspects of like Warner Brothers. That's what makes I think the movie like going to be so much better now.
What would be fun is if they go into the Lego verse.
Oh God,
I want to see that.
I'm just not digging the animation style quite yet.
See, I don't dig Tweety, but I'm gonna bring up that picture of Bugs.
I kind of feel the same way that you do, Nick. Not gonna lie.
But the picture of Bugs doesn't bug me as much.
It bugs me the same. I don't know. It worked in Looney Tunes Back in Action. It worked in the original Space Jam. So why change the animation style?
Well, did you see Tom and Jerry? That's why.
Yeah, but Tom and Jerry was 3D looking too. I mean,
I think this looks real pretty.
Yeah. I will say I hate this Toon Squad jerseys this time around. Absolutely hate them. It's like, no.
We're those
Yeah,
fans,
I'm
aren't we?
not a big fan.
All right. I'm sorry. I won't say I'm sorry for a lot, but I'm sorry. It's too far.
But no, I mean, I'm excited for it. When you hear the full storyline, it's like, all right, that's actually sounds pretty cool. I'm probably most excited seeing Lola with the Amazons, though. I'm not even gonna lie.
That would be cool.
Although
And
now,
they're not sexualizing her now. She doesn't have a crop top now.
Oh yeah, don't
Anytime
you're gonna set the fanboys off because she's not wearing a crop top and
Yeah,
Daisy
I
Duke
know.
basketball shorts. That she's wearing a uniform equal to everyone else. I guess that's a huge issue.
Yeah,
I used to always.
yeah.
it's 2020.
Go ahead,
Everyone has
Jesse.
an issue with everything nowadays.
Go ahead, Jesse.
Well, it's not even worth it. I was gonna say I used to always associate Lola with Lola Bunny, but after just binging through Big Mouth again, now I always think about Lola.
I mean, and like, there's been so many different versions of Lola Bunny. They made her like this ditzy character in the Looney Tunes show that they just recently released, and it just didn't work. I mean, I just hope that they make her like they did in the
I
original.
know Connor's joking. That's why.
Yeah, I agree. I hope she's just like this tough bunny.
Right,
Right.
that's what she was in the first film. Personality-wise, she was the tough bunny.
That's what I want. Yeah, that's what I
By
want.
the way, speaking of Riot, Disney right back to its old tricks about making their ladies thick in the movies. Matt knows who I'm talking about.
You're wrong for that, Jesse. You're wrong for that. That was a great film. That was I was watching it with my father, and we're sitting there, and we're like, "That's the best I've ever thought water looked in animation."
Oh, it's so pretty. That's a beautiful movie.
It looked like real water.
Moana did really good with water, though, too.
Moana did really good, but it's. But no, I'm excited. But no, we're on the last part of tonight's conversation, and that is binge or no binge, because the binge model has been something of recent discussion over the last few weeks, and that is based on the fact that, hey, it feels like people forgot how to watch television because they freak out, whether it's WandaVision or Mandalorian, that, hey, I don't like waiting to watch my television.
Can I say that, surprisingly, out of all the topics today, this is the one I'm most excited or interested to talk about?
Oh yeah,
It's not even a news story, but it's just...
That's how this usually works, which is why we're switching.
Yeah.
Yes.
I was literally talking to Matt about this last night because I was like, do you think like WandaVision is like binge worthy? Because I have to binge now because I don't get it week for week.
Yes, Connor.
And so it's
Connor,
we get
the movie or the animation? That's the only question I have. Animation, I'd give this Moana more. But no, Paige, go ahead. Sorry for interrupting.
No, I was just saying how we were talking about this like last night about whether or not like Disney shows, are they binge worthy? And like I personally enjoy the Netflix model of binging, but at the same time I totally get like Stranger Things come out and then 2 weeks later no one fucking the hype is gone.
Yes.
In a sense. That's the big thing with it, is that the hype goes away so much quicker when it's released all at once. Then when you get to watch it week and it's there for at least 6 to 8 weeks, that the topic of conversation is still going in a sense.
Yeah, and I think that's why I actually prefer the non-binge model, because I like having a week to discuss things before I get that next piece of information. The water cooler talk is one of the best things about the week-to-week model. It's why stuff like YouTube and shows like us exist, because you get to talk week to week new theories. I mean, Jesse, you've done it on Flick and Reel. We've both been on Shmow Me the Money's shows. It's fun. You don't get that when you can find everything out in a day.
It's like, nice when the whole community is all on the same page.
Exactly. It's like, oh, so this happened.
Yeah.
This happened. That was cool. Let's move on. This also happened. That was cool. That you get, imagine a full 7 days of talking like that, and then you get more and more and more, and that's why I enjoy it. I feel like you get to enjoy it more. it's like I can't tell you everything that happened in Stranger Things season 3 because you watch it in the day or 2 days and then you don't think about it again. Where I could tell you basically most details of every episode of WandaVision.
Oh, I could break down Mandalorian episode by episode still. It's been a while because I absorbed it like in chunks.
Yeah. And see, Nerd Chronic, I'm with you. I enjoyed watching it week to week because I got to it added to the mystery of it. And also, Nerd Chronic, nice to have you back in the chat, but always a pleasure to see you. We got to get you on Spin from the Real soon.
Well, appreciate the hell out of your work, man.
Yes, fantastic work. I always love watching your stuff before Schmoedowns.
We like to have our show meetings during the show. Go on.
Oh, well, no,
that's like Chris and I subscribe to that theory while we're doing Wrestle Reels. We like to just be like, oh, somebody's there. Hi. So we're gonna do this, that, and the other. No,
but no, I feel like certain shows, whether it be Mandalorian, WandaVision, I think Falcon and Winter Soldier is going to be a show that does well. I know people are like Falcon and Winter Soldier. It's not gonna be like WandaVision. You don't know that it's a spy series. It's more of a spy series. You're probably gonna still have a crazy ending to each episode, or it's gonna end on a cliffhanger because it's also action. So, like, how are you gonna judge a show based off of, it's not WandaVision, it's not gonna be weird and different. It's gonna hit in a different way because it's a different genre.
To your point, imagine, and this is kind of how I talked about like how me and my co-host went insane watching WandaVision, waiting week to week. To say that it's not going to be like that, imagine if you took Winter Soldier, right? Imagine watching Winter Soldier in 30-minute chunks. There's cliffhangers in that movie, with like Hydra or S.H.I.E.L.D. being revealed to be Hydra and stuff. If you watch that in 30-minute chunks, there's surprises, there's theories. If we would be going insane if we did that. When I was talking about WandaVision, I talked about people complaining so much. I was like, it's because we're not used to consuming Marvel like this. If we watched Endgame in 20 to 30-minute chunks, we'd be doing the same thing. We'd be speculating. And by the end of Endgame, you'd end up with half the fans being disappointed because it didn't work out the way that they had in their mind. But we ingested it all at once that we didn't have time to theorize outside of trailers.
And see, that's part of the fun of it, though, right? Alias was the same as Lost. We all talked about the crazy shit happening that week to week, and that's the thing. That's what made Lost so fun back in the day.
Well, I just would like to make a point here. This is TV getting back to the way that TV was.
Yes.
This isn't how we consumed TV back in the day, and guess what? We were all like, even Friends. I'm sure back in the 90s, people were like, oh, what's going to happen on the next episode? I'm just saying in general, because I was going to say Seinfeld, and every episode's different there. But it's just like, this is how TV used to be before we had the nice thing like Netflix, before we had the nice thing like, and I'm glad that, I'm not the biggest fan of streaming in general. I think it's convenient. That's pretty much the way that I see it. And it's a good way to watch old shows, just like I'm doing with How I Met Your Mother right now. But it's just like, the way that I see it is, even that type of a show, there is always, some form of a subplot that's going on that follows every single episode. And I'm starting to get into that now. And it's like, if I was watching that on TV back in the day, it would just leave me more excited to get back to what I was doing. And again, that's how people do it. You can binge a whole box set of a DVD, but there's a reason why it's out like that now. It's because the show was on at one point and now you can watch it on DVD. So the way that I see it is that this is just TV going back to the way that TV was. It worked. The water cooler talk worked. It got people hyped. It brought in more people every single week. And word of mouth will only do so well with binging, in my opinion.
And I agree. Because, and people always be like, oh, the companies are only doing it for your money. Yes, that's a part of it. It happens. That's part of it. But at the same time, I know people who are like, oh, pay for the Netflix for streaming things or whatnot, and then they cancel it right after because there's nothing else they want to watch.
So my feelings about this, I kind of fall in the middle somewhere. I like what The Boys did because The Boys was about an hour, right?
Yeah, but also another week-to-week show.
Right, but they started out giving us like the first 3 episodes. They said here's a chunk to get you started, because I think the first season was bingeable, right?
Yes, the first season was bingeable.
And then they realized how quick the conversation died. Everyone exploded about the boys for like a couple weeks, and then they were done. So I like what they did here. And my thing is, I love the week to week, especially when it's an hour long, because I can easily be like, okay, I'm going to allot this amount of time for the show every week. I have a really hard time finishing, like, what was the second season? The Haunting of Bly Manor. I watched a lot of it for 2 days, and I never finished it because I don't have time to watch. I know it's good. I like Haunting of Hill House, but I have such a hard time.
Jesse, that's the issue with a lot of shows, because Netflix, a lot of their shows are like hour long, and you get them all at once, and then you'll get through like 4 or 5 episodes, and then you'll never come back to it because you just invested 4 or 5 hours, and now something else is out.
If you're busy, it's hard to accommodate for binging, because you're always like, okay, well, there's something else I need to do, or I need to do this. But if it's like, all right, WandaVision coming out at midnight, Thursday night / Friday every
midnight
week
for you, 3 a.m. for me.
Sorry. But it's just like, I know we watch at the same time every week, and it's only like 30-40 minutes of our time, and I can do that even if you do that with several shows. My hope is that when we eventually get to Marvel and Star Wars overlapping, that they're broken up different days and stuff like that.
Agreed.
My only complaint, if I had one, is if we are going week to week, I do wish they were longer than like 20 to 30 minutes or maybe 40 minutes. I like the hour. I like the hour if I'm getting it once a week. The 30 minutes is really hard, because when it ends, I'm just like, ugh. Now I gotta wait 7 days for another 30 minutes. And with WandaVision, it felt like I was watching a movie in chunks.
Yeah.
But overall, I agree with you. I am for week to week more than binging. It'd be cool if you're gonna have shorter episodes to do like 2 a week. If you're gonna have 8 episodes, run a month.
I would like something like that, and I like how you like brought out like the boys, in a sense, like how they release like the first 3 episodes. I enjoy that. They give me a chunk at once, so I have so much to look forward to now, week to week. And like you said, Jesse, too, because I've never kind of really thought about it, but it brings the community together in a sense, because everyone's talking about it each week in a sense. And I think, in a sense, when you're binging Stranger Things, everyone's all over the place, so they're like, I can't even go online now because I'm going to get a spoiler, in a sense.
Who are you going to talk to?
Watched it in 5 minutes. Exactly.
And even Disney gave us 2 episodes of WandaVision to kick off.
Mm-hmm.
Connor's still not over that. 22 minutes of story, 23 minutes of credits.
We call those people dramatic.
But no, you bringing up community. That's what I mean by water cooler talk. Like, because everyone's getting these streaming services, like back in the day, we didn't have social media, so something like Friends didn't blow up to the proportions that this is now. Like, people are talking about it all over social media, talking to people that they didn't know before. Like, I didn't know you guys before Schmodown this season, and I've gotten to know you each over the past few weeks. And I talk WandaVision with Jesse, I talk movies in general with Paige, and it's just one of those things where if we didn't have this digital age we're in now, we're not talking about it as much. Everyone has their own little pockets, but now we're able to do stuff like this, where we're all coming from different parts of the country, talking about this and theorizing, and like. Here, for example, when I was on Shmow Me the Money, Buck's in Phoenix. He's in Arizona. We lost Jesse again.
He's about to sneeze.
Yeah. But it's just, you don't get the same type of feeling or atmosphere without this. Like, it's fun. It adds more to the experience. And it's like...
It's bringing more people together in a sense. But also in a sense, though, I enjoy being able to, like, when it comes to binging, watching on my own time. Like, I have these 13 episodes, maybe not that many, 8 episodes I can watch whenever I want, in a sense.
Right.
Instead of like, oh, now I have to wait week for week, but on Friday nights I have to work till 10, so I have to watch at 11. Like, so it's nice in a sense having the binge-worthy things that you can just be like, I can watch it at my own expense, in a sense. But like you said, though, week to week, I like brings the community more together, in a sense.
Well, also, you can also just, especially since it's on a streaming service, it gives you the option to be like, I just want to binge instead, like you've done.
Yeah, no,
like,
exactly.
You've waited till now and to be like, all right, it's over. I'm gonna watch this now because it's there. I can binge it all and be done with it.
Yeah.
Like, it gives you options.
I know, I completely agree.
You didn't. Yeah, you had water coolers, but not the internet. An actual nightmare. Yes, your internet is an actual nightmare. And I think, is he back? No, it's frozen. And then he disappeared.
Do you guys think Netflix is ever going to change their model in a sense to go to week releases, or do you think they're always? I mean, that's what makes them stand apart, is that they are.
That's the thing. That's their thing. I mean, I think that if you have something that works for you, why change it? Though I do kind of disagree with it, because obviously I just kind of like the idea of week by week, just like Matt was saying. But it's like, I think that maybe they will, but I honestly
think they will eventually.
But again, that's their thing, is they release all the show, and people do talk about Netflix shows, and maybe it's not for as long as we want, but we won't. Stranger Things isn't the phenomenon that it is if it isn't released on Netflix. That's just me. So I think that it's going to keep. I think that they're going to stick with it because that's their thing. People know that Netflix is the binging.
I will say this: I think eventually they're going to feel the pressure to do so. Because at the end of the day, if investors are seeing that how these other networks are growing because of them doing week to week and seeing higher returns, they're eventually gonna be like, you guys need to start going week to week, because look at what they're doing, and they're like, studies are showing that Disney may surpass Netflix by 2024. Originally, that was 2027. That's how quickly Disney Plus has grown.
I say just need to combine it all and do either longer episodes or chunky releases.
Yes.
So because I can watch 2 episodes a week of something, but I have a hard time watching half a season in a sitting. I just don't have that kind of time.
That's part of my issue with the binge model, because WandaVision, you're like, okay, I only have to watch, like, I have a 30-minute episode to watch, and I can avoid getting spoiled, or Mandalorian, or eventually Falcon, Winter Soldier, and Loki.
But watching 2 30-minute episodes the first time wasn't too bad, right?
Right. No, it wasn't.
When it was like we watched 1 and 2, and that gave us more of a context of what the season was going to be. And I think that worked for me. And I wish it would have been like 1 and 2 this week, 3 and 4 next week. I'd like to see that.
Yeah, I would like it. I would like it like that, to be honest. If it's
an hour, 1 is fine.
Yeah, like Mandalorian, in a sense. Sometimes I'd watch an episode and just be like, "Damn, I just watched 30 minutes. Like, I'm already in the zone. I want something. I want another episode." In a sense, like I'm already feeling it. Like, give me more. That's
the feeling they want you to have, because they want to get you jonesing for it. Because and Mandalorian, Paige, I know you're a Star Wars fan, as an example. Mandalorian has bumped up the numbers of people watching Clone Wars and Rebels. So they get Rebels people jonesing. Yes, that's my favorite. I'm one of the
our Lord and Savior, Dave Filoni.
Yes. But
exactly.
Mandalorian got people jonesing. They wanted to know more about these characters. So, you can find out about them in Rebels or Clone Wars. So they started doing deep dives into there. And that's now, those 2 shows are 2 of Disney Plus's highest performing shows. Granted, it's still not as high performing as a WandaVision or The Mandalorian, but the numbers are coming in from them because of how good these shows are. Just like WandaVision, I know people. I go on Twitter or Facebook. Yeah, I'm rewatching this Marvel movie to get excited for WandaVision, or to go look for more clues on how this is tying together. This is what they want from you, because now you're going back and watching content you've already seen before.
By the way, did they? For the first season of Clone Wars, did they release that all at once, or was that week to week?
That was weekly, and it worked perfectly.
Okay. Some reason I thought it was all at once, and I was like, "That's weird that they decided to do that." But
no, it just happened really fast.
Because it was shorter. Yeah, because that's 12 episodes. That was 12. It was February of last year and it ended on May the 4th. They gave us like 2, I think, an episode or 2 on the last day on May the 4th, and I mean, I think that was they only gave us 1 episode. So we had the Friday, we had the second to last episode, and then they gave us the last episode early for May the 4th for Star Wars Day. So, Jesse, don't worry, we are gonna have you on. Don't worry, it happens.
It's never been this bad. Like I've had rough times, but this is like the
Jesse,
worst.
I host the show, and it's happened to me before.
It happens to him more than we want. I mean,
it hasn't happened in a
especially
long time.
especially when it's just him and I, and he just goes, and then I have to continue the conversation on, and I wasn't paying attention.
It hasn't
Yeah,
happened in a while though. But no, I mean,
somebody will
ultimately,
gift that one day, by the way. But go on.
ultimately, because all these, when it comes to Disney, most of these have stuff that ties into it that's already been released. The binge model would not work because it's gonna hurt the product overall. They're actually improving the product by not having the binge model.
Look at Game of Thrones.
Yeah,
That's so
Game
true, yeah.
People don't complain
also
about it
one
when
of
it
the
comes to
few that
HBO
never watched
shows.
What's that?
I said I'm one of the few that hasn't watched that either.
Oh yeah, I forgot you told. But people never complain about it when it comes to HBO shows. But because they're so used to it on streaming, that's why they're complaining about it with Disney Plus.
Mm-hmm.
It's just one of those things. And
I mean, I like the model of give me 2 episodes a week, but make the season longer. Don't just make it 8 episodes. Make it 16.
I mean, Paige, I know I got you hooked
They
on an
need
HBO
money.
show. I know I got you hooked on an HBO show, and you were glad you
You
were able
did,
to binge
and
that.
and that's why I liked binging it, and I got to binge that thing in like a weekend. So,
And now you're gonna have
Euphoria.
to, and now you're gonna be like me and Connor, because Connor and I love talking about that show. You're gonna be like me and have to wait week to week, and you'll see
Yeah,
the conversations you get to have because of it enhances
they're
it.
so true.
Devil's advocate. The entirety of WandaVision is like what, 5 hours?
About 4.5, 5 hours probably.
I could have binged that, to be honest. Like, Bly Manor, you're looking at 10-ish hours, and so that's
You,
That
you
is so
could
true,
have,
yeah.
you could have, but then you have to write it differently because you don't get the breaks. Because
I'm not complaining. I'm just saying, like,
I
if
know.
I hadn't watched it, like Paige hasn't seen it, it's extremely bingeable. So like the way they're doing their seasons is kind of the best of both worlds. If people wait until later, like I know a lot of people that didn't watch Mandalorian because they knew how it was going to go, and so they waited for the last episode. Then they watched it all. So they're riding this line in between where Disney can win either way. The bingers can just wait and then binge a short season.
No, it's so
or the
true.
week to weekers, like me and Thomas, just engulf whatever they give us every week. And I can't wait until more streaming services adopt that and Disney Plus has more content.
Yeah.
Disney Plus have more content is happening.
By the way, I
Real.
do not think Mandalorian is a bingeable show at all. It's too episodic to me. I think you have to watch it week by week. I think it was way too episodic. Like, I mean, they do all go
If you
together,
don't
but
think Mandalorian is a bingeable show, you won't think WandaVision is a bingeable show. I'll say that.
I will counter. I'm just going to argue with everybody because I kind of agree with Paige
controversial. Sorry, guys.
that Mandalorian is a lot more episodic. Usually, when I went back and rewatched, I'd watch it like a couple episodes at a time, but they're a lot less connected. WandaVision to me feels much more like a movie that is split into parts, whereas Mandalorian is.
See, Mandalorian feels like a movie that's split into parts because you have to remember it starts off in one area. It's always
No,
the
Matt,
first.
you're not allowed to have opinions. Absolutely not.
Well, but like, think about it.
Agree with me.
Those first 4 and 5,
Nobody's
5
allowed to have
episodes.
opinions here, people.
Those first 4 or 5 episodes are all like their own stories, and then the last 3 is when you really see how they all tie together and become this one full story. WandaVision was the same way, basically.
No.
I just like to stir the pot, guys.
But no, it's just one of those things. It happens. So, but I've said my piece, so I don't know.
So WandaVision isn't episodic then? It is. It all goes together.
It can be. It can be. And Jesse, you know you got to admit to it.
Okay, so I'm going to say the first 3 feel very, or no, the first 2 is definitely like it was released together for a reason. That's kind of like one episode. And then like 3 and 4 is kind of like a part. To me, they're kind of almost like they could have been released 2 at a time because like each 2 is pretty much very connected with the exception of 4 is kind of a standalone because it does a little backwards work. It does a little stuff.
4 sets you up for how it's going to be told going forward throughout.
I'd say 4 and 8 are both kind of separate because they both do a lot of setup in them. But
Guess I'll have to wait
I should
and
probably
see.
bounce before my internet craps out, and I
Yeah,
do
I,
gotta
was-
go.
I said I've pretty much got all I want to say out the way.
But,
Jesse, you got anything,
So,
any closing thoughts?
my closing thought is I need 30 more subscribers to hit my first 100. So get over there, guys. Anyone that's watching this, shameless plug. But yeah, keep it week to week. Right now, I think Disney Plus over anybody, and you could tell it just by the topic of conversation, is killing it harder. Some people watched Watchmen and enjoyed it, but nobody's talking about Watchmen the way they're talking about. I mean, also Star Wars and Marvel are bigger properties than Watchmen. But Disney's killing it. They're doing most of the right things, except for the $30 premium. It needs to be like 20. But for the most part,
Hey, to be fair though, when it
I
comes to
get
that $30 premium, think about if you and your fiance already had 2 kids, like.
I don't. I use A-list, and we go. So,
But no, if you're a parent with 2 kids, wouldn't you rather just pay the $30 and watch it at home?
yes, but that's why now the theaters are open. I'm not doing the premium, but I do understand that like my co-host has like 4 kids, and he's like, it's like $100 when I go to the movies, and I'm like, yeah, for you, spend the 30 then, and you guys can rewatch it too. So I fully get that. All right. Well, anyways, guys, thank you so much for having me on.
Jesse, like I said, you're always welcome on. Just don't crack. Don't have your internet can't handle this anymore. It's your internet's giving you a sign.
Remind me next time you have me on the show to reset my modem prior, because I'll reset my computer, but I need to reset my modem and freshen it up because it did better after that.
Yeah, see, no, your computers would be like all this talking you've been doing lately. I don't appreciate it. I don't appreciate it.
I was even blowing dust out of the fan in my computer before this started, so I don't know what to do.
All right. Well, Jesse, thank you for coming on. Paige, anything you want to say before we hop off?
Binge or not binge, you decide. No, but guys, thank you guys so much for having me, and follow my Instagram movie page, guys, and my own movie page and my own Instagram page if you want, Front Page News 9 or Feature Flicks with the K. No C.
Keep an eye out for the Boston Badass.
Yeah, guys,
can't wait
coming your way soon.
Nick,
What?
closing thoughts?
Oh, tune in next week for the return of Real Talk.
Yes. And signing off, I'm Matt, and this was another episode of Who Are They? Real Talk.
Adieu, adieu. Parting is such sweet sorrow.
You're still here? It's over. Go home.